Good morning everybody, welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. Hope you're all doing great and welcome to this new video here on Bitcoin, your daily update. We're going to do a full update. I mean, so far so good today, I'd say. Yesterday we dropped down into that support level right here between 80 and 78,000 as expected. If you watch my videos, yesterday, at least in my middle of the day market update, we had to conclude that due to the uncertainty and just in general bearish pressure, it became more likely, while I adjust my camera, it became more likely that we would see a move down before ultimately potentially getting a move up again. I mean, the main level that we've been struggling with the majority of this week has been this level between 83,700 and 84,000. That's also still the main resistance level right now. It looks like we're going for that, but to break above that, even though so far we've actually seen quite a lot of strength from Bitcoin, is a very different story, and that's in general going to be difficult. I mean, but so far, I mean, the support has been helping out greatly. Right here at 80,000 and 78,000. That's also, if you go to the higher time frames, a very strong support, and so far that's been holding very well. But ultimately, what we want to have is that we get into some sort of a bullish confirmation, so that we can have a more bullish structure. Because right now, I could still make the argument, and I would not be wrong, that we are in a downtrend. All right, basically since the bearish breakdown we had the 24th of February, we tried to consolidate, but ultimately we've been making lower highs across the board, and right now you can also see we're making lower lows. So there, the level at 84,000 comes into play, and the importance of which, because I would say that if we can get a breakout above that, then we actually have a structure shift, and then we can actually move into 87, 88,000. But then at least it's more certain, especially on the higher time frames, that we can consolidate instead of trend down, and that is what we want. But that's what we'll see over the course of today. I mean, if you take a look at Bitcoin right now, the move up we've seen so far since yesterday afternoon has been quite healthy. You can see there's some leverage coming in, but not too much. Now, I am a little bit more worried about the volume, all right? So the volume in the market right now is dropping down a lot, and basically has been dropping down since the 11th, so since Tuesday. Back then, the volume was quite high, and that was also normal because the bottom was defended. So that's great that the volume goes up then. But you want to have some sort of a volume increase outside of just a leverage increase, which we do have, a healthy one, to actually get the bullish breakout. And so far, that's not the case. And then you can see that stocks, as you can see right here, have opened relatively bullish over the course of today. Pre-market is trading higher than the close yesterday. But what's still the case is that the volatility index is also dropping down slightly. But what is still the case is that the volatility index is still very high. Stock markets, sure, they've bounced a little bit in pre-market, but during every US session in basically the last couple of weeks, it's been bearish. So then, and there's still a lot of uncertainty and just in general around the tariffs and the geopolitical situation. So then you have to ask yourself the question, well, do I think in those circumstances, it's most likely that Bitcoin is going to be able to break above 84,000 with no volume? In my opinion, the answer is yes, we can do that. I mean, Fridays can be very volatile and unpredictable, but I would not trade right now in expectation of it. I think purely technically, it is most likely that we'll get there, but that from there we will actually reject back down, and that we will stay, at least for now, until the fundamentals change, in this range between 80,000 and 78,000. Now, it changes, and I will keep you updated on that in my middle of the day market updates. It changes if we actually see a bottom forming for stocks, right? Because the stock market and just in general traditional finance has dictated the movement and the direction for crypto in the last couple of weeks. If we can actually get some sort of a strong US opening on this Friday, which is possible for sure, then we can break above 84,000. And just in general, short term, I would actually say something like this is most likely, all right? So that we'll get up to 84,000, that will reject, but that we will remain stable in that area. But those are my thoughts. No major economic news right now. There's some news about FTX distributions, but we'll talk about that a bit later. For now, I think that's everything you need to know. So thank you for watching. Take care and bye.